I'm April, and we're at Sprout Camp hanging out with some kids. This is Kara. Kara, I heard that you wanted to talk a little bit about
Cats.
cats. Tell us about cats.
Cats love snuggly people and licking people, and they like to lay on their head sometimes.
Do cats go to church?
No!
They don't, ever?
No! You have to put them in the cat bag.
Do you think that we'll have a cat church at some time? Yeah? Are you going to help build this cat church? Start it up at some time?
I'm gonna build it in my bedroom so my Bobo and Smokey can go in it and listen all about cats from me.
You probably got to finish snack and get started on this cat church, so we're going to say bye.
Bye.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Michelle and Josh make an attempt to do the announcements. We're looking forward to sharing with you all the great things happening here at Mile High Church, and our school supply drive is underway, isn't it, Josh?
Imagine every kid in Denver, Michelle, having all the supplies that they need to go to school. It's the same as when we were kids. Even in this age of technology, they need paper, backpacks, pencils, pens. You can bring them here. Our Make a Difference team is everywhere to collect them, or go online to our Amazon wish list and send some stuff in. So that's this weekend, and then it wraps up next week. Thanks for the Action Center who puts this together every year. And we have a wonderful series, Michelle, here called What I Wish My Parents Knew.
Yes, it's very exciting.
Yes, we should just do that, me and you, and talk about what we wish our parents would know. But this one's all about addiction and recovery. We have an incredible father and son team here, Stephen Fisher, his son Matt, and they wrote an incredible book about Matt's struggle with addiction and parenting through it, and they're going to share us our stories. I don't know of a single family that hasn't been touched by addiction, and because of a kind donation we received, if you come to this, you are most likely going to leave with their book. But back to today.
Yes.
We've got a wonderful treat in store for everyone this Sunday morning. We've got Daniel Nahmon performing for us, and he's coming back tonight.
Yes, he is. He's going to do a summer concert out on the plaza for us this evening, and we're going to have a food truck out there. We already have prayer requests in, and the weather's going to be great. Our practitioners are on it, right, for sure. So 6:30 to 7:45 is our summer concert series tonight with Daniel Nahmon.
Hey, I'm April. I'm the director of the preschool here, and we're back at Sprout Camp. We've been here all summer, and we just want to wish you a great week.
Have a great week!
Hello. Good morning. I'm very easy to upstage, and they managed to do it before I even start, so that's kind of impressive. My name is Daniel. It's great to be here. I have for this first song, it's kind of slowly dawned on me. I've been singing my own songs for 25 years, and I've kind of gradually realized that I've been consistently sharing too much information about myself with roomfuls of strangers. So this song is very much in the category of TMI in general, and the only thing I'll tell you is don't worry about me. I've been to therapy, so when you listen to this song, you might wonder whether I can balance a checkbook or keep track of anything in my life. And the answer is mostly, sort of, sometimes. The answer is my wife is better at it. Anyway, here we go. So a song to begin. Nice to be here as always. There's the kind of life when every choice you make's the safe one, predictable. When every moment's like the last one, everything even slightly, barely scary is locked away. It's the kind of life where your engine's never gunning, sitting tight. I know your heart is hardly running. Nobody better be messing with the schedule for your usual day. Then there's the kind of life where your pot of gold may never come, where your dream's so big it's never done, where your work feels less like work than fun. Tell you what I want, that one, I want that one, yeah. Give me the kind of life where wrong is sometimes right and black is sometimes white as well. I want that one, oh yeah, that one. I will fail and I'll succeed, I'll laugh and I will bleed. Every day's a mystery and time will always tell. Look at me, going a million different directions. Messy me, I call it perfect imperfection. Don't bother asking me where I'm headed, 'cause I really don't know. No, crazy me. Today I may become a rock star. Then again, it would be so cool to drive a NASCAR. Tomorrow I might decide to wrestle crocodiles for Nat Geo. You don't need to say that my pot of gold may never come. I know, blah, blah, blah. My work is never done. But if a life can be never-ending fun, tell you what I want. That one. I want that one. Yeah, give me the kind of life where wrong is sometimes right and black is sometimes white as well. I want that one. Oh yeah, that one. I will fail and I'll succeed. I'll laugh and I will bleed. Every day's a mystery, and time will always tell. Keep your to-do list to yourself. I'm doing what comes naturally. I don't want to live like no one else. Gotta be true to me, always true to me. Yeah, that one. I want that one. Oh, give me the kind of life where I'm kind of flying blind and black is sometimes white as well. I want that one, not some boring, ordinary, flat one. I will fail and I'll succeed. I'll laugh and I will bleed. Every day's a mystery, yeah, that's the life for me. Oh, that's the life for me. That one.
Thank you. Nice job. Daniel Nahmod, everyone. Mile High Band. Daniel, I love you, man. Welcome to Mile High Church. You know the great Kurt Vonnegut says that when something's really good, when you're having a good moment, it's so important to pause and to say, if this isn't nice, I don't know what is. So it's so good to be with each and every one of you today, and I invite us to say, if this isn't nice, I don't know what is. So good to be in this company. So good to welcome folks online as we all co-create Sanctuary together for healing, for fun, for inspiration, and for connection. So grateful to have Daniel Nahmod. He's one of the premier singer-songwriters in New Thought, and so glad he traveled here from California to be here today. So glad that all of you are here. And as we move into our time of song, silence, and prayer, I want to light our memorial candle this morning in honor of a great longtime practitioner, Bev Fleck. I mentioned her passing a couple weeks ago in a prayer, but we wanted to get this picture of her so you could see her and to announce that her memorial service will be held here at Mile High Church on Saturday, August 26th. And I just give thanks for her light and her spirit, for all those prayers given, for all those demonstrations had, and for the legacy of her love in the life of all those who care for her. Yes, please.
Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place. Surely the presence of God is in this place. I can feel the mighty power and the grace. I can hear the brush of angel wings. I see glory on each face. Surely the presence of God is in this place.
And we recognize that God is in this place, and that God is in each individual who is in this space that we call Mile High Church, and those who are online who are also sharing this energy and this love that is Mile High Church. And we say, good morning, God, as we have come into this beautiful sanctuary and we've seen the beauty of that blue sky, the green trees against that blue sky, hearing the birds, knowing that nature is just always, always, always rejoicing that God is everywhere. God is all there is. And so for each one of us as we sit in this space, and for all those who worship anywhere, by any means, we know that God is within us, each one. And so as we sit next to our neighbors or our families online, we recognize that God within each one of us. And so it encourages us to be kinder, to be more loving, to be gentler, and to let go of judgment, knowing that God is, no matter what appearances are in this world, it is so much bigger than any one individual. And we're so deeply thankful for that. And we're deeply thankful for all of those who take part in making this service today a special one. The message, the music, all of our volunteers, our production team, all of those people that come together to make sure that as each one of us leave this place, we know God is with us, and we take that feeling out into the world and make a difference. I am thankful. And so because I know that is the truth of this prayer and it is unfolding now, I can let it go. Thank you, Spirit. And so it is.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done, everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here to the present moment, here to a new beginning, here, and I'm seeing light so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. As here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Here I go, deeper, deeper, deeper than I've ever been before. Here I go, closer, closer, closer to my sacred source. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, get ready, my soul.
Thank you, Daniel. And our words of inspiration today, our first reading today is from Cynthia Burshot. As we actually taste the flavor of what Jesus was teaching, we begin to see that it is not proverbs for daily living or ways of being virtuous. He is proposing a total meltdown and recasting of human consciousness, busting through the tiny acorn selfhood that we arrived on the planet with into the oak tree of our fully realized personhood. He pushes us towards it. He teases us, he taunts us, encourages us, and ultimately he walks us there. And from Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, should you shield the valleys from the windstorms, you would never see the beauty of their canyons.
One of my favorite quotes from anybody is George Carlin, who said, "We spend the first 9 months of our lives trying to get out of the womb, and the rest of our lives trying to get back in." This is a song that it's a little unusual for me. I recorded it for my most recent album, but I wrote it 15 years ago. And what's unusual about that is it just actually didn't feel right to record until now. I'm going to assume that that's a compliment to my wife and my boy, because it's a song about the meaning of home and arriving there finally. And it came to mind today in talking with Josh about the theme of the morning. So I hope you enjoy it. Here we go. Years wandering the world, where in the world, what was I doing here all of these years? Searching in vain, cursing the rain, chasing the runaway train of my mind. It never went quietly, but this time I feel myself silently praising the day I found my way home, home to a place where I've always belonged all the way, from lost and alone, from hopelessly gone. I am the prodigal son. I don't know what I did to deserve such a gift as the day I found my way home. How can I repay? How to convey how good it feels to be here in your arms, suddenly safe, totally loved. walked in a way that's been healing my heart. You are a miracle in my life. I've never been so grateful as the day I found my way home, home to a place where I've always belonged, all the way from lost and alone, from hopelessly gone. I am the prodigal son. I don't know what I did to deserve such a gift as the day I found my way home. Oh, and I'll never wonder again if there is an end to my tears. The answer is here. Since the day I found my way home, where I've always belonged, all the way from lost and alone, from hopelessly gone. I am the prodigal son. I don't know what I did to deserve such a gift as the day I found my way home, as the day I found my way home.
Daniel Nahmad. You can get his new album, Real, and lots of other merchandise at his table in the lobby or at danielnahmad.com. And he'll be back here at 6:30 p.m. tonight for an outdoor concert. Bring your lawn chair, have some food and some community, and a great time. Thanks to everyone who's contributed to our school supply drive. We have one more week, and we don't believe in capital G guilt here at Mile High Church, but a little G every now and then, just to remind you that this school supplies just goes to help all of our local kids at our local schools through the Action Center have the supplies they need to have a successful school year, and I love that we can participate in that. You can go online as well to our website, and there's an Amazon wish list, so you can have stuff mailed right over to the church. From the Gospel of Matthew. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure that had been hidden in a field, which a man found and hid. And from his joy, he goes and sells the things he owns and purchases that field. The first thing I want to point out in my message today, Christ's wisdom, parables for living in heaven on earth, is that all of the parables of Jesus are just about that. How to live on this thing called earth in society, but to live from a place of heaven. The kingdom of heaven, it may be a place. It may be an alternate dimension. But for Jesus, first and foremost, it's a way of being. It's a consciousness. It's a divine choice available to us at any moment to choose love, to choose a higher way, to choose God's way. And Jesus, he says that the kingdom of heaven is within you, but he never tells us what the kingdom of heaven is. The kingdom of heaven is a greater consciousness that we develop through ongoing inner knowing. He won't just do that. He's always saying it's like. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast. It's like a pearl of great price. It's like a man who discovered a treasure buried in a field, sold everything he owned, and bought that field. The surface meaning is pretty clear. When you discover the kingdom of heaven, you value it more than any of your material possessions. And yet part of the magic of Jesus' parables, these spiritual riddles, is that he, in everyone, turns the common sense a little bit on its head. He challenges some of the practical wisdom of the time so that we can go deeper into our demonstration of the kingdom of heaven. In this particular parable, consider, why didn't the guy just take the treasure? Why does he need to buy the field? Was it that the treasure was too heavy? Perhaps it was something like oil, so he needed to own the land to cultivate it. Or perhaps it's not the kind of treasure that you use to buy material things. Perhaps it needs to stay buried. Perhaps the treasure is simply the knowledge that the kingdom of heaven exists. The knowledge that you are a part and related to something eternal. The knowledge that God is indeed with you when you associate yourself with that kingdom of heaven. Walker Percy, the author, once said, "Suppose you ask God for a miracle, and God says yes. How do you live your life differently?" It'd be great to say, "Yay, a miracle." But is not the greater miracle to know that God exists? To know that there's a presence and power who knows who you are and knows what you want? Is not the gift to know that this earth and our temporal existence is not all there is, but that we are grounded and connected with the true vine, with a spirit of love, with a spirit of everlasting life? And what does it mean to live like an eternal being on this earth? What does it mean to live like you are loved by a divine power? How do you live your life differently, knowing there's a treasure within you that you don't need to dig up, but as you live from, makes itself known in every relationship, in corner and area of your life? Jesus encounters a young man who asks, "Rabbi, how do I enter the kingdom of heaven?" And Jesus answers simply, "Follow the 10 commandments." And the young man says, "I've been doing that since I was a very young boy. Is there anything else?" And he says, Jesus back to him, "If you want to be perfect, take everything you own, give it to the poor, and follow me." And the young man clinches up. "My apartment? What about my streaming services? My car? My bank account?" And it is then, following this story, that Jesus shares the famous line that it's easier for a camel to enter the eye of a needle than it is for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. And for me, at a deeper level, this saying isn't about saying it's wrong to be rich, or there's something wrong with having possessions. The real point here is that when you're closer with the divine, you lose that attachment to those possessions. The real question I think Jesus is asking is what's getting you closer to God? And I ask you that this morning. What's getting you closer to your source? Feeling more connected with something sacred. What's getting you closer to your own soul so you can live it more vibrantly in your life? Anybody? I think of my little girl. She's right over there, being held by my other girl. And I love getting to sing with Nancy June And I love getting to hold her when it's really quiet. That brings me closer to God. I think of preparing this message for you today. I think of getting to take a run in nature. What's getting you closer to your soul? Anybody? Grandkids. Our spiritual teachers. Flowers. Caring for animals. Sunsets. Hiking. Music. Get ready, my soul. Wasn't that amazing? Ooh. Yeah. There's a novelist by the names of Franz Werfel, and he said that thirst is the surest proof for the existence of water. Thirst is the surest proof for the existence of water. In the same way, that longing we have for spirit, that longing we have for connection with our soul, that longing we have for the eternal, it's the surest proof for the existence of the divine. And the thing about that which calls us closer to God, it doesn't just quench our thirst, it reveals just how thirsty we've been, just how thirsty we are to know our true nature and to become our true selves. What's getting you closer to God? And it's then that we can look at these possessions of ours and we can ask the question, what's keeping me from God? What's separating me from Source? What is this thing that I've told myself is so important to who I am in society, to who I want you to believe that I am, that's keeping me? What's the habit or the addiction? What's the argument I keep having with so-and-so over and over in my head that never gets solved? What is that judgment that I carry around my neck about myself that's keeping me from God? That's what Jesus is inviting us to let go of and to follow and to welcome ourselves in to that divine kingdom. As religious scientists, our denomination, we're interested in the afterlife. We love to speculate about it. We love to talk about it. We love to explore it. But we're not as interested in finding heaven in the afterlife as we are about experiencing it in this life. This is the great depth of Jesus' parables, that the kingdom of heaven is not something to wait for tomorrow. It's something present in your right here and your right now. Something else I love about being a religious scientist is I'm not limited to just the Gospels. We love the Holy Bible here and hold it as sacred, but we love all the sources of wisdom about Jesus, including the Gnostic Gospel of Thomas, and one of my favorites, Leo Tolstoy, arguably the greatest novelist of all time, late in his career, wrote his own translation of the Gospels called The Gospel in Brief. So the greatest novelist talking about perhaps the greatest story ever told. And I'm actually teaching a class online called The Mystical Jesus, to give a plug, that will be using that text. You can sign up online or at the event center. But here's a quote. "And the Orthodox came to Jesus and began to ask how and when the kingdom of God would come. He answered them, 'The kingdom of God that I preach is not the one that previous prophets preached. They said that God would come with various types of visible appearances, and I am talking about such a kingdom of God, the coming of which will be impossible to see with the eyes. And if they tell you, look, it came or is coming, or look, here it is, do not believe them. The kingdom of God is not in a time or in any place. It is like lightning. It is here, there, and everywhere. And it has no time and no place, because the kingdom of God that I preach is within you.'" Jesus' larger parables, the ones that have narrative, tend to have a common theme in terms of their character structure. There's almost always a Lord or a master that symbolizes God or the way of the Spirit, the way of the kingdom of heaven. And then there's almost always an anti-hero, someone who, if not seen as a villain, would be seen as a sub-character in a narrative. And then lastly, there is the supposed hero. There's a character almost in all of these parables who follows the rules, who is supposed to be seen as an exemplary member of society. And it's through them that Jesus likes to turn that practical wisdom on its ear and challenge us to open our mind to a higher way of thinking and a greater way of loving in our lives. Take the parable of the prodigal son. There's a father, the master of the land, who symbolizes God, the nature of the kingdom of heaven, and his youngest son decides to take his inheritance and he blows it all. And he's sleeping with pigs. And he's so heartbroken, and he finally has the epiphany that perhaps I could go back home, go back to my father and ask for forgiveness. And he does just that, and the father rejoices, tears of joy. And there's so much love present that the largest party the household has ever had is held. And this is all painstaking to the heart of the other son, the oldest son, who's done everything right, has been totally loyal, and has always stayed close to his father. But now he's seeing this, and he can't believe it, and he can't help it. He shares his broken heart with his father, and his father can only reply, "My son was lost, and now he is found, but I love you just the same." And as much and as powerful as this parable is about forgiveness and redemption, to me it's just as powerful about that part of us that's self-righteous. That part of ourselves that can keep ourselves in a sad arrogance on the outside looking in at love, because we hold on to judgments, because we don't admit it, but we think we're better than other people. And in that self-righteousness, it's never heaven that rejects us. It's never God that doesn't let us in. We reject ourselves. We keep ourselves out of that divine choice and stay in a sorry kind of inaction that disconnects us from our source and makes us be who we know deep down we are not. In the parable of the Good Samaritan, we have a dying man lying on the side of the road that I would argue actually represents God or Jesus. And there's a priest and a Levite, two very highly respected people in the Jewish faith, and they don't help the man. We never find out why, but during this part in the Gospels, there's a lot of Orthodox folks yelling at Jesus for helping people on the Sabbath, for doing work. And then there's a Samaritan. And the Samaritan was seen by the majority of Jewish people in the first century as a lower caste. These were Jews who didn't follow the regular operating rules of order. And it's this Samaritan that helps the dying man. He doesn't just help him, he takes him to an inn and feeds him and bandages him and helps to make him whole. So this anti-hero comes and shows what it means to be good. And it's important to understand that for a Jewish person in the first century, hearing this is mind-boggling. It could even be infuriating. It's like if someone got up at the Democratic convention and said there once was a man whose car broke down leaving the Whole Foods parking lot. And he broke down on a road that almost no one drove past, and he put his hazard lights on, and the first thing that passed him by was an old VW bus covered with Bernie Sanders stickers. Next, what passed by was a Prius with a coexist sticker on it. No help either. And then finally, the biggest pickup truck you ever did see. That kind of pickup truck that you see on the road, and said, I didn't know that they make pickup trucks that big. It pulls over, and a man gets out with his MAGA hat on, and he looks under the hood, and he doesn't say a word to the man, and he closes the hood, and he attaches the tow to it, and takes it immediately to an auto parts store, knows what's wrong, fixes the part, and drives away. So Jesus is never interested in the ways of the earth. He's never trying to make a political statement about who's better or who's right and who's wrong. Because for him, the point of the kingdom of heaven is that there's only one humanity. Viktor Frankl said, for monotheism, as important as it is to believe in one God, we also have monothropism, which must follow as the belief in one humanity, that we are one people. And the great divine law is to love one another. Doesn't mean you can't disagree. Doesn't mean you can't argue. Doesn't mean you shouldn't separate yourselves from people that are living differently in a way that you don't agree with. However, there's this primordial being in each of us that thrives and comes to life when we love one another. And there is no one not worthy of the love of God. This was the core of Jesus' message. It is a message that was never given before. There is no one unworthy of God's love. And yet, who do we hold generally as most unworthy? Not even the people out there, but ourselves. To know our self-worth and to allow the love of God in is to embody the meaning and the purpose of the kingdom of heaven, and is to begin to weave it in our affairs on this place called earth. This message about our worthiness is at the heart of the parable of the laborers in the vineyard, where the master of the vineyard, representing the kingdom of heaven, invites our heroes early in the morning to come work in the vineyard for a denarius. And they're heroes because they're doing the right thing. They're hard workers. The early bird gets the worm. They should be the most rewarded. And yet there's more workers that come in all day, all the way up until sundown. And then when it's time to get paid, they all line up. And those that started working first line up last. And they see everybody get paid, and they get paid the same amount. And they're outraged. Wouldn't you be? I am. I would be. And so the anti-heroes have made just as much. And these men, they complain to the vineyard owner who says, am I not paying you what I told you I was going to pay to you? Can't I pay and do what I want with my own money? And again, he's challenging the way of the earth, but revealing to us the way of heaven, which is that it doesn't matter when you show up to the kingdom of heaven. It doesn't matter however long it takes anyone to turn to the divine. The love that comes to them is the same. If anything, the reward of showing up early is getting to know it sooner, to be one with that divinity and that love of who you are. Can you let yourself into that knowledge of a divine power that loves you? Can you recognize that that power lives in you and it calls you to express its love for others? And are you willing to realize that even these invisible aspects of life are more real than anything else? And we find not only our soul in them, but our sense of eternality, our calling to be who we really are. What does it mean to know that God exists, not just theoretically, but in every area of your life? What's getting you closer to God, closer to your spirit? What's giving you back to yourself? And what is that thing that's keeping you apart, that's challenging you, that's causing you to question yourself and your purpose? Can you even use that to remind yourself of divine truths, to recognize that indeed you do have a relationship with heaven as you do on earth, and that your true spiritual calling is to bring them together, to recognize one that perhaps doesn't exist without the other, but they are made whole in who you are. Jesus tells the parable of a gardener who's seeing a tree that's dying, and the landowner says, well, let's rip it out. And the gardener says, just give me a year to work on the soil, to work on everything else that's nurturing that tree. For those of us who are thinking we're old, rotten trees, for those of us who feel that we have branches in our lives that are no longer bearing fruit, it's time to get back to what feeds our soul and our heart, to nurture that soil around us so that the divine can come forward and help us grow in alignment with who we are and who we want to be again. To close, lastly, from another quote from Tolstoy's The Gospel in Brief. My teaching is the tree of life. The Father is he who cultivates the tree. He cleans and grooms those branches that bear fruit so that even more will grow on them. Hold to my teaching of life, and life will grow within you. And just as the branch does not live of itself, but takes life from the tree, likewise you will take life from my teaching. My teaching is the tree, you are the branches. Whoever live by my teaching of life will bear much fruit. So just moving into prayer this morning, invite any of our practitioner prayer partners to join me in consciousness by standing or just being present with all of us. I'm so grateful for this spiritual sanctuary that we co-create together. I'm so grateful for each of us who allows ourselves in to the healing that sanctuary can create, to the divine recollection, to that stillness that speaks to us of higher truths, to that grand thirst that proves to us the existence of water. That spiritual thirst, which can only connect us with that which we seek. For I know and affirm it is seeking us as well. That divine partnership of inner knowing, of committing to be a spiritual being within humanity. Knowing and affirming divine healing, divine grace, divine abundance, divine well-being. I know that all of these qualities are but the birthright of our souls as children of the Most High. Allowing this Spirit to speak through us this morning, allowing it to carry on in our conversation through this day and the days to come, may provide us just what we need, even if we can't quite articulate what that is. It's that feeling of wholeness, of being one, of creating meaning through our thoughts, deeds, and actions. May we embrace them here and now. And so it is.
If I only make you mine, my God. If I only let you in my heart. If I only give myself to you. Would you show me what you'd have me do? If I only speak your name out loud. If for once I'm not so very proud, would you show me what love's all about? If I only make you mine, make you mine, forgetting that long and lonesome past. Make you mine, take you into my heart at last. Make you mine, forgetting my long and lonesome past. Oh, yes, I will. make you mine, take you into my heart at last. If I only let you dry my tears, would you quiet all my darkest fears? Would you walk with me throughout the years? If I only make you mine, if I only make you mine, if I only make you mine.
Beautiful. Thank you, Daniel. As we move into our time of offering, I'm so grateful for the abundance of Mile High Church. I'm so grateful that we embrace all people as abundant and life-worthy and prosperity-worthy. And I know that as you choose to give prosperity to Mile High Church in terms of money or time or just prayerfulness, just know that it's so appreciated, and I'm so grateful that it all comes together to create a thriving spiritual community. I want to recognize all those watching us. We have folks from the Philippines, Japan, Germany. Cheryl Renee's watching from Hawaii. Aloha, Cheryl. Indiana. Just throw that in there. And right here, someone even said hi from right here in the Mile High Sanctuary, so not too far away. So we have many ways to give to Mile High Church right here in the offering plate. You can go online and give through our website. You can text to give. Our guest services now has Venmo, and so we're all caught up technologically for the moment. But just know that we are so grateful for all the support we receive. So just invite us to take our gift physically or metaphorically as we say our offering affirmation together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. And so it is.
All right, one more song from me this morning. Thank you again for having me, and I hope to see you later for some more music. Several of my newest songs I'm looking forward to sharing with you this evening. And I know so many of you have been wondering whether I rap. I know that's been your first question. And I actually, one of the best songs I ever wrote, one of the most personal songs I ever wrote is a little crazy for this stage here, but I look forward to sharing it with you in a few hours. I think you will get a kick out of it. I've had a couple requests for One Power. I'll definitely cover that tonight, and a few other songs. In the meantime, before I sing this last one, I'll just say, just like the music for me is very personal, I have approximately the most personal merchandise table anybody's ever had today. Normally, well, for years, it was just music. Then it became music with my wife's jewelry. My wife is a silversmith. Then it became music and my wife's jewelry and woodworking that I do. I make these little boxes. And as of today, it is now Daddy's music and woodworking, Mommy's jewelry, and Jude's candy. He makes candy. So the Namot Family Craft Show is officially convened. And you can call that a plug, or you can just stop by and check out all the things my crazy little family is doing to make a living, sort of, in Orange County, California, where we are approximately the only artist colony in Orange County. I was telling the folks at the table earlier, everybody else seems to have a pension. I don't get it. Everybody else has a 401k, everybody else has a salary, and we're just making our little things and taking them on the road. Anyway, is it nerve-wracking? You bet. Anyway, so here we go. This is another song from the new album, like The Day I Found My Way Home is. And this song was born from a conversation with somebody who I thought was impressive and cool. I thought she was smart and successful and talented and nice and everything good. Then she told me where she came from, the family she came from. And I realized I was looking at somebody far more impressive and more courageous gutsier, more persevering than I actually ever imagined. And then I sang this song on Facebook on one of my shows, and 3 of my favorite people emailed me that night and asked if I'd written it about them. So needless to say, I said yes to all 3 of them. But more importantly, it started a train of thought here, which I'll encourage you to consider. How much everyone in this room and everyone we know has survived to be who they are and get where they've gotten. From the most humble arrival to the most grand, we are all survivors of things that we can speak about and things we don't, things we can remember and things we can't. There is more courage and guts and perseverance in a room full of people than we ever can fully assess, mostly because most of us, most of the time, just don't talk about it. But it's true about you, and it's true about the person you're sitting next to. Stronger and tougher than they'd ever let on. So this is a song that was born from that thought.
I've never understood how you turned out so good with all that you've had to endure. No one expected you to make the best of you. The deck stacked against you, for sure. The more that I learn, the more I admire how you never got burned being forged in the fire. 'Cause an ordinary mortal would have quit by now. With a life like a field full of mines. You're human, I know, made of muscle and bone. But you must have steel in your spine. You never talk about when you first figured out that you'd have to go it alone. It breaks my heart to picture you, a child hiding out of you. So young to fight on my own. But still here you stand, and still here you are, igniting the world with your luminous heart. Yeah, an ordinary mortal would have quit by now. With a life like a field full of mines. You're human, I know, made of muscle and bone. But you must have steel in your spine, and that would explain how you never admit any pain. So let me just say, that child has a lot to be proud of, but no longer needs to keep the world at bay. If you were mortal, you'd have quit by now. You've been counted out so many times. You're human like me. You can bruise, you can bleed, but you must have steel in your spine. Yeah, a mortal would have quit by now. But your light was determined to shine. There's so much more than they see. A superhero to me. You must have steel in your spine. You must have steel in your spine.
Thank you, Daniel. We look forward to this evening. Thank you, band, the world's greatest church band ever. And what about this fellow here? Don't we love him? So we love all of you who are here for the first time today, and all of you who have been here many times. Mile High is a wonderful place, and for those first-timers, I'm going to be at the Welcome Center for a few moments out there, and then there's information at either door about Mile High. And we have our practitioners that have arrived, and if prayer is calling to you, the beauty of the music and the message, if it's calling to you, make sure you stand in front of one of these wonderful prayers for you.
And Dr. Patty, you're not going to be in the Welcome Center long because you're doing an online workshop today.
Yes, and it starts.
Although Patty is like the one person I know who can be in multiple places at one time.
It starts at 11:30, and it's the 5 steps of mourning. So if grief, any type of big changes in your life, it might be a good place to be. It's on Zoom, so the link is on our website. So I look forward to that. So thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Hey, everybody, next Sunday's a big deal. It's a celebration of the ministry of Dr. Barry Ebert. He's giving what in colleges they would call his last lecture, so he's giving the talk here. I'm sure we'll hear from him at some other time. But it's a great celebration, so you don't want to miss it online or in person. And people have asked, how can we honor Barry's legacy? And his answer is almost always give money to the youth church. And so something that's happened is we've had some anonymous donors come forward who are offering up to $14,000 matching gift for folks who want to make a donation to the youth church. There's some information to do online or text, or we'll talk about it more next week. But so grateful to those donors, and that means you give 20, and it's like giving 40 for the youth church. So, but most importantly, let's not miss celebrating him next week. So grateful for that. If you'd like, stand and say a benediction with me. It goes like this. If you want to repeat after me, something wonderful is happening to me right now. It is this thing called life. Life is in my mind, in my body, and all that I do. I give thanks for it, and I accept it. Just the way that it is, and just the way it is not. Thank you, life.